management for architecture students. Creatives would include your concept work. Focus would include what you need to really think for research, area calculations, breakdown, whatever it is. And technical would be the more idle work, that once your designs are done, you just need to draft it in CAD or something like that. And lastly, this is the most important one, is 80% done is definitely better than 100% perfect. So for time management, this is probably the most valuable piece of advice that I ever got when I was an architecture student, is see that 20% includes things like, creating your templates or wasting, like 1 hour on choosing the right color and font. So instead of finishing one task, completely 100% and making sure it's perfect, because there's no such thing in architecture as perfect. Everything keeps getting improved and modified and refined. So make sure you have 80% of your work done for each of your deliverables, and then once your mental space has cleared a little bit, then you can go to the next stage of doing all that refinement, finishing touches, composition, and all of that. So yeah, and the next one is time is energy. So we're not machines, and architecture students are constantly, drained of energy. I don't know, as a result of the curriculum or just how the system works. So it's literally up to you to manage your energy also, in addition to managing your time, because at the end of the day, curriculums, even if they do change, it's going to take a really long amount of time. And for you, for the next 2-3 years, however long you guys have left in college, you are the only one who can actually take control of your time. So remember this thing, 1 hour of productivity is better than 3 hours of apparent work. So when I say apparent work, what I mean is something that we do end up doing is you sit at your desk and you feel like you're working, but it isn't really productive work, and you get distracted and all of that, but and then you feel drained because it's like, oh, I worked for 3 hours but I didn't get anything done. So instead of that, 1 hour high energy, intensive, one focused hour of work will definitely make you feel more productive and save your energy for the rest of the day. And you can use the rest of the the remaining energy to whatever you want, whether it's more work or just relaxing or whatever it is. You're still getting your checklist. So this kind of collates to the thing of the mindset that you go into your work mode in, which is be mentally prepared and make sure you have energy at that moment to actually get stuff done. So cool tip that I used to, and if you guys don't already do this is definitely something that helps, is as a method of productivity boosting, use reward systems. So reward systems could be Netflix break, Instagram break, power nap, having snacks, chat with your friends, whatever it may be. Because at the end of the day, if you feel drained constantly and you feel like work is the only thing you're doing, you're not going to be productive. And no matter what kind of time allocation you do, if your energy is down, it won't work. So these two things are very, very, very synergetic, and they have to work together. So the last two things, so these are some takeaways. So online to-dos and offline to-dos, easily implementable, but definitely high impact. So organization and tracking deadlines. So these are the two most important ones, which are basically for having your collated list and actually following through on them. So if you guys, it will literally cut down 50% of your time. There's so much going on through an architecture student's mind, and it's so chaotic that you cannot keep track of everything. Forget your different subjects. Within each subject, there's like 100 million things going on. Use apps like Notion, Trello, Obsidian. Even if you want to use the inbuilt apps on your phone or laptop, like your reminders, notes, or even physical planners, that works too. And for tracking deadlines, if you're using these kind of like, project management tools or whatever, like Notion and stuff, you can also track your deadlines there, or just simply use your calendar on your phone. So you make sure you don't forget your deadlines, especially if you are someone who's a little bit more disconnected, or you're missing classes for whatever reason. Please don't. But yeah, so definitely keep track of your deadlines and be well prepared, because if your deadline is 15th and you plan to finish your thing by 14th, it's not going to happen. Keep buffer time as well, and tracking your dates will help with that. And lastly, again, seemingly simple but makes such a big difference, muting your notifications. Even your gadgets have so many tools that will help you be more productive, so things like focus mode and all of that. And another cool thing that I used to do that really helped me out was organizing home screen. So whether it's on your phone or whatever, keep all your mail and your LinkedIn. If you guys use LinkedIn, you should definitely use LinkedIn, by the way, and your Instagram and all of that on different slides, so you don't feel tempted to use those apps. So that's the thing, right? It's not about cutting out distractions, but pausing distractions when you're working. And that's a thing that we get so overwhelmed thinking that, ooh, time management is such a mammoth task. But it's not about getting rid of the things you like to make time for boring stuff, but managing your time so you have enough time for both. And for the offline takeaways, so productive mind and a productive workspace. It's as simple as that. So I'll start with productive workspace first, actually. So when I talk about resources within reach, I'm talking about your stationery, whatever it may be. Instead of having to go to your friend and ask a million times, it will keep all your things ready before you start working, and get rid of any of your physical distractions on your desk, whether it's something for you to play with, or just do some kind of, like, if it's something broken that you kept thinking, oh, I need to fix this, simple stuff like that. It really does impact your flow, because at the end of the day, it is difficult as architecture students to get into that mindset in the first place, getting into work mode. This will help you out. And having a productive workspace isn't nearly enough. Having a productive mindset is even more important. Using sticky notes for reminders for whatever it may be. So things maybe you took away from this session, like the 80% done is better than 100% perfect, is something that you'll have in the back of your mind, but when you're actually doing work, it's things you tend to forget. So I used to, I had, like, my whole wall was filled of sticky notes, and that really helped me kind of, the moment I felt myself distracting, I just like pick the reminder that I need and just get back to work. Again, it's never foolproof, but it definitely does help. And anything for motivation, whether you want to put a poster, something, your deadline reminders, super important things. It helps. Sometimes if you guys have events that you need to attend, if you want to go out, with your friends that weekend, you'll not keep that in mind, and you end up, planning things for that day. So that's completely fine. Plan your things for Friday, and then relax on your weekend. So yeah, that's about it. So for the questions, we'll just start with the questions that you guys who registered, you guys sent some questions. We'll just start with those. And in the meantime, you guys can either unmute yourself or even drop your questions in the chat. So let me just... Great. So how do I manage my time when I have multiple deadlines all at once? Okay, one technique for this is, if you guys haven't heard, it's called Eat the Frog. Basically, it's starting with the most difficult stuff first, and the thing that difficult as in whatever you consider most challenging, or whatever you feel genuinely takes you the most amount of prep or mental energy to actually tackle. Start with those first, and then you can allocate the rest of the time, because see, getting into your workflow is what is actually difficult. So when you're managing your deadlines, again, right, go back to things like batching your tasks. Instead of doing all the history work, all your design work, all your urban design work at once, batch your tasks into creative and focus and technical work, and that will help you actually. So it's not really multitasking, but still being focused about one kind, because for us, that's the thing, right? It's more so than it being about subjects. This is about the kind of work, the category of work that we'd have to do. Also, for people on the live, if you guys would like to ask any questions regarding time management for architecture students, you can drop them here on the chat, and I'll definitely check those. So the next one was, how can I improve my speed in design or model making without compromising quality? Okay, so I think two ways to answer this. One would be for specifically for speed. If you're talking, you should start earlier, because that's the thing, right? There's no substitute for actually keeping allocated time. But if you're worried about speed, upskill. Literally, see, the less amount of prep that you need per day will definitely help you save a lot of time, right? So if there's something like for research, having maybe tools ready, tasks ready, whatever it may be. So and that will definitely help you out for your model making, keeping everything ready. I don't know, having all your stuff, learning all. See, people have been doing this for like decades now, right? There's so many resources on the internet on how to like shortcuts. I mean, shortcuts has such a stink on it nowadays, but for architecture students they really do help. The next one would be, what should I prioritize when I'm running out of time on a project? Okay, so this would definitely be, in terms of deliverables, whatever is most valuable and has the highest impact to your design or what you need to convey to your faculty or whatever, that is definitely something that you should prioritize. Or again, based on your curriculum, you can always go back to your credit system, mark breakdown, whatever it may be. But again, those I would say are secondary. Definitely focus on your message and what you need to convey to the faculty. And the last question is, how do I avoid distractions, especially with social media and procrastination? Okay, so again, there are a lot of systems and techniques for this. So one is the Pomodoro technique, which is that's the thing, right? Instead of getting rid of distractions, it's about pausing distractions. So what you can do is set 25 minutes for work and then 5-minute break, 25 minutes for work, 5-minute break, and then take like a really long break. There are also many other techniques for getting rid of distractions is the problem actually, right? So don't think of it as avoiding distractions or getting rid of them. Think of it as postponing them to a time when it's convenient, and that automatically solves like 50% of your dilemma, and you don't feel like you're constantly being unproductive, or that it's your distractions are controlling you rather than the other way around. So yeah. Do you guys have any questions on the live or on the Google Meet? And you can drop them now.
Yeah, I had a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you said that I mean, you can follow 100% ki jagah, you can follow like an 80% giving into your projects and all. But
Right.
wouldn't that give like a lesser quality of work in my submissions?
Okay, so that's more about let me clarify that. It's more about your entire prep, and not you're giving 80% to your submission, but you're giving 80% to your working allocated time. So that means start with 80%. So once you've got done with 80%, then you fill the remaining 20% in your remaining amount of time. Because at the end of the day, see, having your deliverables and having the main stuff is more important to architecture and interior design students, because your faculty still need to see progress, right? It's like if you're going to submit something and they know that that 80% includes content and the 20% includes style. So it's like style over substance, right? So this is substance over style. So if you have enough to explain everything, at the end of the day, yeah, there's always extra marks for embellishments and all, and you can always do that. The entire point of this was that 20% should be done, but it should be done at the last. It shouldn't be 100% of assignment A and then 100% of assignment B, but 80% of A, 80% of B, and then the remaining 20 of each. Once you've allocated enough time for both of them. Because for example, like say, give the example of your sections and elevations, right? If you draft your sections on CAD and you then move them to your sheet, and then you're worried about composition and making it look good, labeling, and all those things which are important, it's going to take up so much of your time. Instead, uh, and then you have to move to your elevations, that's definitely going to make you feel overwhelmed, and the quality of your elevations cast substance part will reduce. So it's better that and plus, see, the thing about style content is those are easier to do and they take less amount of time. But the thing about drafting, actually designing, and the technical details of your sections and elevations is what will honestly eat up more of your time. So it's more about not cutting out things but restructuring them in such a way that it becomes easier for you to deal with it when you're nearing your submissions.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Got it.
Great. So do you guys, a couple of people join on the live. If you have any questions about time management for architecture students, you can drop them. And you can join our Google Meet, because we do have 2 more slides left here. The link is in our bio, by the way. Great. So I'll move on to the next thing. So yeah, so this was the time management toolkit that we were talking about. These are the 5 things that are in it. Basically, it's kind of just to help you stay organized and all of that. Takeaways from the session include the online and offline productivity tips, reminders for your workspace, and there are 5 recommended time management techniques. So these are, there are some examples, as well as reference articles. So and lastly, the main thing, I would probably say the last point is the most helpful, which is the apps and custom templates and books, and even there's more there. If you guys would like this, you can drop your emails in the chat box. For people on the live, if you'd like the time management toolkit, you can also DM your email IDs to our Insyd page, and we can send it over there. So we'll send it by email. Yeah. And lastly, so what's next? We, as I mentioned, the rest of the sessions for the month are about internships. If you guys missed out, I think a couple of people on the live joined a bit late. So if you guys missed out, next we have our sessions every Saturday around 3. If you can join our WhatsApp group for regular updates. For the people on the live, the WhatsApp group link is in our bio, and for anyone in the Google Meet, it's right here on the screen. Our next session is how to pick your dream office for your internship, and the next one is also a continuation of that. And the registration link is in the chat box of the Google Meet. And for everyone on the live, the link is in our bio. You can go to, or you can even go to our website and go scroll to Insyd Connect. So yeah, that's about it. Do you guys have any last questions, or yeah, anyone on the live? Great. That's great then. So hopefully you will meet up next week. Everyone on the live, definitely, if you'd like